Welcome, everybody, to the Final Checkpoint Podcast. This is episode 62. Each week, we react to some video game news, and we talk about games that we're playing. My name is Joel.
And I'm Ben.
Ben, boy, let me tell you a story. This week has been one of the longest weeks ever.
It has felt very long, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, now, obviously, the election happened, and that's still kind of in a way going on. You know, Biden won and he's always been elected, but there's still like all the drama of like Trump, like I'm gonna sue, and his lawyers
Right.
having some sort of conference in front of some landscaping company,
Which
that's
is
all, you know,
oh my god,
funny. That part's But Tuesday I went to the dentist.
Oh, that's right.
I had so I had two cavities filled, one on each lower part of my jaw, kind of in the back. And so I think the dentist might have, and I think I might have told you this already, but I think he accidentally hit my tongue when he went to go inject the numbing stuff.
Okay.
And I don't know what it's called. I'm sure it's something that I can't pronounce anyways.
No idea.
And so my half of my tongue has been numb the whole week. And at this point, every day it's gotten a little less numb, which is nice. It's been cool to have some feeling back in at least that side of my tongue, because it's been a really weird week of like just mainly chewing and eating on the other side of my mouth because I have no idea what's going on over there.
Okay, all right.
But now it's at a point where like the edge of it is not numb anymore, but there's still like this slice of it, like this lane that is. So I still have like every now and then you might hear it, you might not. It might still be, it might not be like noticeable, but I hear it and I feel it. Like this is like the best way I could describe it is sometimes it feels like my tongue is rolling.
Oh.
And I can't stop it.
Like
it's really weird.
Like it's tilting like a boat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it feels like.
I would definitely say someone fucked up on this procedure somewhere.
Yeah.
I know when I was
when
I was getting
this happened last time. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. When I was getting my wisdom teeth removed, they make that thing where they're like, there's a low % chance, but you might never have feeling in your jaw again. There's like there's some warning that they say with that. Because like one of my teeth
my chances.
Yeah, one of my teeth was like really long or something, and like they were coming in sideways. One of them was coming in sideways, so it had to be removed.
Oh yeah.
And they say that warning, so this feels related to that somehow, where like, oh, we messed up, oopsie doozles.
Yeah, it's, you know, like I there's always trouble numbing this side of my face, like the right side, I guess. So I kind of felt most of everything that was going on during the procedure. So I expected that to be the troublesome part of this whole experience, not this side. So yeah, it's weird. How are things going on your side of the world? Arizona.
Better than that, I guess. I don't know. There's stuff I would go into, but it's not that interesting, and I think we have got a lot of news and stuff, and
we do.
I would rather talk about that than my silly life where I don't go outside. So
okay. Yeah, we do have a lot of cool news to talk about. Obviously, the next gen of consoles will be here. What, this week?
This week?
Yeah, this week.
It's 2 days to the Xbox, 4 days to the PlayStation.
Pretty crazy. It's already here. Yep. I guess let's get right to it, Ben. What's our topic of the show this week?
Topic of the show? Well, 2 topics. Because I want to reminisce and talk about our favorite moments of the last gen before we, kind of do a little salute and the arrows that are on fire launch out, and then they burn the consoles. And then, of course, the arrow that was shooting at the PS4 gets fired away from the fan. Like, it didn't hit it because the fan's still on, and it's so powerful.
It's just so loud.
But the first topic we should go into is the Xbox Series X and S and PS5 reviews that hit all throughout last week. I think this also, I mean, obviously it was the election that made the week feel long, but it was also this constant stream of Now we got the Xbox. Now we got the PlayStation. Now there's a review of Astrobot and Spider-Man and all this other garbage.
It was so much.
There was
so much.
a lot of gaming news and topics, and I feel like the reviews were about what I expected. Like, these systems are great. I'm happy that everyone's happy with the loading speeds. As someone who, I mean, you have a PC as well. Like, it is faster. It's so nice that things are faster. I'm really happy about that. How do you feel about all the reviews and of these new shinies?
I think overall I'm pretty excited about the loading. The quick loading is pretty cool because I think that kind of sucks having to wait for a game to load. I remember playing any GTA game,
Oh,
or I mean, not any GTA game, any Rockstar game.
right.
Red Dead has the long load. GTA 5, the long load, especially like playing online. Um, like really any game that has a long load, like I just think about the fact that that's gone. I think that overall, um, thinking about how right now when I play my PlayStation, clicking the PS button, and the lag of going to like my settings or anything is just like such a slog. It makes me excited for the new consoles. And the thing that I'm like, everything else sounds great about it. Like everything I've been reading about the Xbox Series X and the PS5, like everything already sounds so cool. But like the fact that the storage is so limited
Right.
already sucks. Like that sucks.
Well, and
like, it's so bad.
there's also this article about the PlayStation 5 where you can't at launch, like, you could plug in a hard drive, right? But you cannot first expand the storage at all. For the PlayStation, super fast SSD hard drive. And even if you plug in a 2 terabyte regular hard drive, you could play PS4 games on it, but you can't back up the PS5 games on it yet, which is a major feature that we've been talking about this entire time, and a feature that the Xbox Series has, which alleviates a lot of those issues. You mentioned hard drive space. The Series S is like 4 gigs on there, basically. And if you don't want to buy that $220 expansion drive, and you might not, but if you already have a terabyte hard drive you're using already, you could just plug that in and back things up and switch them out as need be. It's not as convenient, but it's a lot cheaper. You can't even do that on a PlayStation right now, and that really, really sucks. And it seems like such a, maybe not oversight, but I don't know. It's not even a decision. I want to say it's a strange decision to do that. Like, no, someone fucked up. That's not a strange decision. That's, things are behind schedule or whatever, because that is basic functionality, being able to transfer PS5 games to another hard drive, or having the expansion slot, you can use it. Like, we don't know what drives are going to work with it. I don't even know if there are that many publicly available drives that match their speed requirements yet.
Yeah.
But that I do agree that is a concern. I think the PS5 has like 600 and something.
I think it was it's either 625 or 675. It's one of the two.
Yeah, it's one of the two. I think something around there, but it's not a lot, and people keep bringing up Black Ops Cold War as being 130 gigs. And that's a lot of that hard drive.
I was looking at my PlayStation just today, and the 5 games that I have on it, and I started comparing it to like those CD players that was like, it would hold 5 CDs. Do you remember having one with like a stereo? Like, oh, I can put in 5 or 3 CDs in here. Like, so really, technology hasn't moved forward that much. We're still there. No, we could still load up 5 discs at a time. Like, it's, that to me, that was always kind of the biggest gripe I had with like my PlayStation, because like I hated always having to delete games to like load another one, or the fact that like I would get that error message, or like, you don't have enough space to download the update. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? This was supposed to download while I was at work.
Right.
Now I have to figure out what game I'm gonna sacrifice so that I can update Destiny or Call of Duty just to play with my friends. Like Like that sucks. And now that problem isn't really going away. And if I get a PlayStation 5, like there's really no solution right now. So I have a feeling the way they worded it, like that will eventually come, but that's
Yes.
just more money I'm gonna have to shell out that I've already, like I've already spent the money on a new expensive console, and now I'm gonna have to turn around and spend more money on additional storage. Like, why isn't this problem solved? Why why didn't they make it 2 terabytes? Why aren't these like options there? Like I just don't get it. It's an Xbox might already have a solution there with their options with the expandable what is it,
Yeah.
proprietary drive, and then they also have compatible drives already, right?
Well,
Like external storage and stuff, or is it that you can already back up on external
yeah,
hard drives
you
that
could
are
just back it
compatible?
up. But basically,
Yeah,
from what I
so
understand, the Series XS OS, so many letters,
yeah,
is just the one that's on your Xbox already. Like it's just the same one. So that's why all the media apps and everything, it's just like, oh, it all just works because it's the same damn thing. And I think
yeah,
that's really cool. It might be less exciting than a brand new OS and like a shiny load screen and all that stuff, but it's ostensibly
it
like,
works.
yeah, it works and it's like a new PC. And I was on my Xbox earlier this week, playing a game we'll talk about later where I love the OS on the Xbox. It is so nice and it is fast, even on my One X, where I can press the guide button, press the trigger to go down to the Game Pass little icon, press Game Pass. It opens up a menu of all the recent Game Pass games quickly, like instantly.
Yeah,
Then I can hit
yeah,
that and it loads up Game Pass. The store looks beautiful and it loads quickly. And this is on current gen. It runs so well. I think a lot of PlayStation players are not aware how good the UI is. You hear a lot of people complain about the Xbox UI, and I think it's because they don't use it enough. Um, but it is so much faster than my PlayStation UI. Like you mentioned pressing
yeah,
the PlayStation button to back out of a game. That is exhaustingly ridiculous. And on Xbox, it
yeah.
is not great, but it's so much better. And going to the store is so much faster. And I'm very excited to see, I guess, both consoles feel more modern. I mean, as a person who would buy everything on my PC that I could necessarily, part of the reason of that wasn't even necessarily the graphics. It was, oh, this indie game, like just for Bug Snacks as an example. It hypothetically, if it had came out 6 months ago, I would have bought that on PC because it's gonna load quickly. Like it's gonna
Yeah,
load
yeah.
faster there, and to have that on a console, that to me is the biggest selling point. I do want to bring up an interesting thing that we learned, that there is no quick resume on the PlayStation. Just so the
Yeah.
Xbox has, you can start a game, back out, go to another game, and then return to the first game, and takes like 5-10 seconds, I guess, and you're back where you were. Like no loading in, no load your save. Like it's just there. It was suspended. You're back. The PlayStation does not have this,
Does
which,
it still have the suspend or
yeah,
like or rest mode thing?
yeah,
Okay.
it still has that as far as I know. Um, but and to some people this isn't that big of a deal, and I don't think it's that big of a deal. Granted, but I know I end up playing 2 games at a time, maybe on the same system. And if I, just as an example, I'm playing Neo 2 on my PlayStation, and I want to pop
Yeah.
into Fall Guys. Well, now I gotta close down Neo 2. I gotta load into Fall Guys, and then when I'm done with that, because that's like an hour, oh, I gotta go back to Neo 2. Well, I gotta load it up again, and just being able to hit that button to play Neo 2 and be back in it in 5 seconds, exactly where I was, like at the shrine, ready to go,
Yeah.
just for 2 games. Not to mention this goes up to like 6 or 7 on the Xbox. That's gonna be really transformative, I think, once you get into it. Um,
Yeah. I think that is pretty cool. I don't know if maybe Sony didn't see it as a huge priority, or maybe they just didn't think of it because of the fast load times, because
right.
now it's like, well, if they just want to get back to their game, it's going to be in a snap. So really
It's not that big
maybe
of
it's
a
not
deal.
a priority. Yeah. I think it's a really cool thing to have. For me, like I'm one of those people that doesn't stop playing till I hit a checkpoint, and then I feel safe closing out of a
Right.
game. And I don't know if I will feel comfortable doing a quick resume, but I think that is a cool feature to have, and I would still want to try it. I Man, that I mean, it really like I saw how it worked, and I think that's pretty awesome.
It's really
It is a pretty
cool.
cool feature. It's a unique feature that Sony just doesn't have.
Right. Because I know
Yeah,
I was playing on my PC, which obviously doesn't have this quick resume nonsense. It'd be cool. I don't know if I trust my PC to do this. Uh, and there's something weird. There's something suspicious about it to me. It's like
yeah.
some kind of witchcraft. But I was playing Crysis, and I'm still bouncing into Genshin Impact, which does have a login and all that. But quick
Hmm.
resume on that game would be, oh, you're back at the login menu and you start. You don't have to load up anything or do anything like that. So
Yeah.
that would be helpful to do that. Okay, I did my dailies and whatever. Let me go back to Crisis and it's boop. Okay, start playing.
Yeah.
That's really freaking cool. Like you can't as useless and unnecessary as that is, you cannot deny that's really damn cool. Or if you want to try an
I
indie game
yeah.
for 5 seconds and then pop back into what you were, it's awesome.
I think it'll be perfect for people that multitask games that are constantly trying new games and then like I'm the kind of person that plays lots of different games because I will get bored of one or like I get stuck on one. So I can see that being pretty useful to me. I'm imagining that feature doesn't work for like games of service or
No,
online games
from what
like
I
Call of Duty. Like it'll
understand,
probably kick you out and then you gotta like just reconnect. I'm
yeah, it
sure,
boots
but
you back to like
yeah,
the start screen where you'd have to log in or whatever again. But that's still faster than loading it up and going to splash
oh
screens and all
yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty cool. Like any like the fact that everything just loads quickly is just killer. Like everything that I've heard on podcasts about people like they can't imagine going back to the old consoles. And a lot of people are like, I can't even imagine playing on my PC right now. Like it's
That's because their PC
it's already
probably
like
sucks.
I'm already convinced like that I know I want to get a new console and I know I want to get both. I don't want to just stick to one. I know I'm gonna prefer getting a PlayStation 5 first because that's just where I feel the most comfortable. Um but like I for sure want to get an Xbox Series X. Like initially I was like, I just want to get an S. I was like, nah, dude, I want to get an X for sure. Like I'm so convinced by just not only Xbox like as all their services, but like their hardware. It's freaking killer.
Hmm.
I love I love the look of that of the Series X. Initially, and I've always liked the look of the Series X because I like that they just go for the squared or rectangle look. Like perfect.
Hmm.
Sony always goes for these wacky ass
Oh, I hate it.
freaking designs. And you know what? It looks kind of ridiculous, but I don't care. It's
I'm
like
gonna try and
that's
put
just
stuff in
Sony.
front of it when I get mine.
I know, right? Can I dress it
Hide
up?
it.
Can I put a coat on it so it looks like a
It's
butler, something
functional.
like that? Yeah, yeah. But I mean, it's exciting. I'm not super in a hurry to get into a new console. Like I can totally wait because really all the games that are currently coming out for them, I'm not as
Hmm.
excited to play as I was because like Miles Morales, I'm not super excited to play, especially everything I've heard about it. I'm like, okay, it's just Spider-Man. The story sounds cool, but I'm just like not in the mood to play that game.
Gamefly.
Yeah, there you go. Gamefly, shout
That's
out
my Gamefly game.
Gamefly. Um, and you know all the other third-party games or anything like that. It's just so far right now, nothing next gen other like I guess in my head like nothing has convinced me that I need one
Yet.
at this moment.
Right.
Yeah, I don't need one on launch. And especially with some of those features that just aren't there yet or just aren't completely like fleshed out, like I'm okay waiting. I have plenty of games to play that are still in this like transition of current gen, next gen, that I'm playing or I'm going to play. Like Cyberpunk is going to be one of those that I take on the PS4 and then take with me to the PS5. I'm playing a lot of like indies that can play on just about anything that I have, and then I don't know. I just jumped back into like Fallout 76 like this morning. And I was like, fuck, I want to play it so bad like all day. So just a lot of stuff like that has convinced me like, and especially hearing all the reviews and everything like that. I'm like, everything sounds cool. I'm sold on next gen. I don't think I need it right
I agree with that. I am, despite my best efforts, getting sucked into the Demon Souls train. where I really want to play that game. So I have to try and find a PlayStation 5 somewhere.
I had a weird dream where
Okay.
I went to like Costco and there was a huge stack of PS4, PS5s, and I convinced my wife to buy two of them so we can flip the other one. And she decided we're gonna get five of them, and I was like, "Oh my god, we're gonna hit the fucking jackpot." This is me in a dream because I don't really talk like that. So so we go, we check it out. As we're checking out, they're putting like the consoles. Ooh, sorry, I'm dying. In our shopping cart, and it turns out they're PS3s. And it turned into a quick nightmare all of a sudden. And I was like, why are they priced the same? And then I woke up and I was like, what the fuck is happening?
What a stupid dream.
It was really odd.
That's unfortunate for Dream Joel.
Yeah. What an idiot.
What an idiot.
What an idiot.
Got
What an
suckered.
idiot. Yeah. Speaking of PS5 and Xbox
Yes.
in a retail store, that is something that will not be happening
Which is
on launch day.
interesting news. It felt like, well, there's all conspiracies of like, is this a supply train thing? And are they just doing this because maybe supplies are low? But this is a great idea. We don't need people in lines for for this reason, in particular. So you will only be able to get on launch day Xbox or PlayStation 5 online.
Yeah.
You could get it in store if you did like pick it up at store, obviously, but they're not going to have extra stock at a store. And this is good news because I definitely did not want to be driving around ever to do this. But also, it works out. I can be there in the morning, ready to go. Let's try and secure a console. That's exciting. I say exciting, but I don't necessarily mean exciting because it's stressful. But
Yeah.
because
I did shop around a little bit locally, like online, just to see if there's anybody that has them, like that you can order to pick up, and nobody does. So I was like, "Oh, they're definitely not going to be available in store."
right.
and then the news came out, and then I was like, "Well, I guess it makes sense. They don't want people like rushing to stores to like buy these currently because of COVID or whatever, or like." Kind of like I think what happened last console launch, people stabbing each other
Sure.
to get like the new Xbox or PS5, like especially in this climate where people are struggling economically because of being laid off or furloughed from their job, or their business is struggling or things like that. So I totally see it, and if especially if supply chains are limiting the stock of these consoles, which is why they're probably only available online, makes sense.
Right. Yeah, I'm really hoping to get my Demon Souls box. I'm a sucker. I really am a sucker.
Demon Souls box injected in me.
Oh my god, I have stuff on the top of my because I think it's so big. I think the only place I can put it is on top of my entertainment center, and I already have a couple things I think I can put in front of it because it's so fucking dumb looking. I just hate how it looks. Maybe it'll look better in person.
Make it look like a penguin. Like, get some googly eyes.
Oh,
Get something you can put in front that looks like a beak, and then get like some sort of like little coat.
Where
that
would
you
the
can put
eyes
around
be?
it.
Like on the sides, or you mean like up
Yeah, just stick them on the sides.
on
Some
either
Velcro or
side,
some
like an
shit.
iguana?
Oh yeah, just do it.
Okay, that sounds better. I'll do that. I'll do googly-eyed penguin and I'll doodle on it, and it'll look vaguely cute.
People will be like, "Oh, look, you got a penguin." They're like, "Yep, that's my PS5 actually."
It's my penguin S5,
Yeah, it's my Penguin S5. Perfect. P.
right?
P for
The
penguin.
P for
It
penguin. S for
worked
station.
out perfectly. Yeah, my Penguin Station.
Five for also five. 5 for 5 gum.
Wait, didn't Linux used to run on PS5? Or I could
Yeah,
have
yeah,
there was
yeah.
some sort of
That was the
see,
PS3.
there we go. PS3. Yeah, there we go.
The other
And
OS, yeah.
It all comes full circle right there.
There you go. Thanks, Odell.
Shout out to Odell. There we go. Look at that. Perfect. All right, let's move on to the next piece of news.
Yeah, you brought up Cyberpunk coming out in December, and
Gross.
the Medium, which was one of the bigger Xbox games. This is from Bloober Team, which I hate the fucking name. They did the Blair Witch game, and they did something else which I forget that people really like, but I always forget. I played the Blair Witch game and I liked it a lot. That's why I remember that.
Yeah.
That was supposed to come out around launch. I think it actually was delayed until sometime in December, and then now it's delayed again to January 28th, which is like a nice little birthday gift to me. It's almost my birthday.
Nice. All right.
And that sucks because that is one of the major next gen. It's going to be on Game Pass. Like, let's do it. It's only on Xbox games. It was delayed partially because of COVID, and in their little message, it does mention, we're going to get out of the way of some other stuff named Cyberpunk.
We don't want to get trampled by Cyberpunk. Yeah, I think Path of Exile's next like patch also moved out of the way.
There was another game too. I don't remember, but
yeah. They actually said it in their like I think their delayed message like we want to make sure like we want to move out of the way for Cyberpunk. We're also going to be playing it.
Yeah.
So I
think that one said we don't want players to have to choose. Like we're going to be playing it. You can play it. I think that was kind of their thing. And this sucks for me because I do love survival horror games. This is the one where two environments are loaded at the same time and you switch in between them. It looked really cool.
Looked pretty neat.
I'm excited for it. I hope it's really good. It's only a month delay, or I guess like 6 weeks. So we'll see. That's all Cyberpunk needed to become amazing was 6 weeks apparently. So if they can do it, we'll see if Cyberpunk comes out. But this is now more of a bummer for Xbox having literally nothing. It's
rough.
Yeah,
it's rough.
Oh well.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
There's plenty of games to play. Yeah. This is really only concerning to idiots like us, because most people are just like, "Ooh, shiny," and they play Fortnite on it. You know, like it doesn't matter. We're the ones that think about it and care. And again, in 6 months and a year, no one's gonna remember or care about this.
That's true.
But we also got a very exciting announcement yesterday, as of this recording, on N7 Day, the worst kept secret, possibly in the history of the world, the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which is the Mass Effect, not remaster, but, or I guess, remaster, not remake, remaster of these games for 4K and all that crap. It's coming to PS4, Xbox One, and PC with a enhanced patch of sorts for the next gen, coming after release, I believe. This is awesome. I think we can agree on that.
Oh yeah. Love those games.
Yep.
I tweeted this. I will probably not never have the time to replay these, but I sure would love to hop in and shoot some stuff.
Yeah, I think. It's tough. I do want to replay it. I definitely want to replay these games. It's been since the third game that I really even, or I guess Andromeda, but that doesn't count. But in terms of this, I want to go back to it. I definitely want to see what they did, and the first game especially was pretty rough, and that was a 2008 game or 2007. Yeah, I think that was.
I'm afraid to revisit it. Is the problem? I'm afraid to revisit some of these games,
right?
Because I don't want to tarnish the memory that I have of it.
Yeah, I totally agree. That is a aspect of it. I'm hopeful. I think this is less concerning than, they're making a new IP, Anthem, and they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
We already made the game. Let's just make it look nice. Okay, cool. I trust you to do that. Yeah. That's a lot easier. But
I wonder why'd they wait so long to do this?
Because EA is fucking stupid. EA, look at what EA has done. I really should. This is my big project if I had time and I cared enough.
Look what you've done, EA. That'll be the title.
Look at EA. Well, first of all, look at their shitty sports franchises box arts, which I hate so much. They're so bad.
Man, you really don't like it.
They're
I don't think
so
anybody else has
ugly.
noticed it.
It's just 4 squares. Imagine if The Last of Us 2 had just a picture of Ellie and a picture of Joel in a square on the side. It's so dumb.
I think they just had to change it up, and they're like, let's make it stand out. And someone's like, let's just make it ugly.
But it does. What if we fuck it up? What if we do that? It looks like it doesn't fit. Like, it doesn't fit those franchises. If it was Life is Strange, where like there's a photography theme
Oh yeah,
or something, like,
it's a
oh
scrapbook.
yeah, like that kind of makes sense. But this is sports ball. It doesn't make sense for these like graffiti colors and things. It's bizarre.
Yeah, it does look really
But
odd.
actually, you look at EA's last, like this whole gen, their last 7 years, they've canceled 17 Star Wars games. They've closed several studios. They've remastered Burnout Paradise and like one Need for Speed game.
Yeah,
They've released two Star Wars Battlefronts, both to completely separate controversies. They have every year some problem with FIFA, Ultimate Team, and all this bullshit. They're they're just stumbling all over the place. I didn't even mention Andromeda or Anthem. There's so many issues with this studio mismanagement of, I believe, their IP and their studios, and it is really apparent. Like, I would like people to go and look at EA of the last 7 years. It is quite the baffling display of negligence and incompetence. They have like two Switch games released. They're like 70 million Switches. They're just like, I don't know. I guess we'll put Burnout Paradise on here. Okay, finally. I mean, they really missed the ball with that. They're missing the ball with this Mass Effect remaster thing, which you're right. This should have came out 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Push Andromeda and put this out instead, and then patch that up for another 2 years and make that amazing. But they're just, I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what they're doing, but it's kind of the silent juggernaut that no one really cares about is really faltering. You look at like their equal, Ubisoft. Ubisoft is crushing it in terms of their output and their perception. Now, they've faltered a little bit in the last year or so, but overall, this gen has seen even stuff like For Honor is a big success.
yeah. I'm
Wildlands,
surprised. I'm surprised that For Honor
that's
has
definitely a
stuck
surprise.
around as long.
That's a
Yeah,
big
it
surprise.
stuck around for a long time, and it has like it just has like a very active community,
Right. And there's also
um,
like Rainbow Six Siege, which is tremendously
which is
large.
killer.
Uh,
Yeah,
they're doing such a better job at handling this generation, even with all their controversies and weird sexism. And you look at the Assassin's Creed franchise;
that's
they revived that franchise. Like, that was on the way out.
that thing was
No
that thing
one
was
cared.
dying.
It was on life support, and now it's like it got its heart transplant. It's back. Like,
Yeah,
that's a tremendous success. And what EA has done is just crushed everyone's favorite dreams and studios. And that would, I mean, someone make that documentary. That's a good hour and a half documentary about these two studios that no one would fund or watch, but I would love it.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. And I've been hearing very good things early on so far about the new Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
yeah,
So
and that comes out in 2 days.
can't wait to see. Yeah, I can't wait to see like reviews on that because I'm hearing good things, even like compared to Odyssey. So
That's awesome.
now
Yeah.
all of a sudden I'm more excited for that now because I think as far as like scope wise, like size of it. So
Perfect.
if that tends to change as far as like if it's more comparable to the size of like Tsushima, I might be in. So
I'll let you know because I got it for free with my processor when I bought my PC.
woo! All right, cool.
That was the
Yeah, sounds
bonus gift.
good. Yeah. But also part of that news is supposedly there's a new Mass Effect in development by a veteran team, which
Whatever the hell that means.
I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. Anything new that BioWare is working on? Not sure.
Not sure,
Not
yeah.
sure what to. Not too sure. They're also still working on the Anthem revamp, and
Oh, God.
I've been watching videos on that just to see what it is. And there's like gonna be a new Javelin for Anthem, and they are doing skill trees and shit. And I'm just like, I don't know, man. I don't know that. I don't know if it even has a chance, to be honest.
It's been out for almost 2 years, right? Yeah, 2 years. Yeah, no,
I
that's
think,
not good.
and I know it has. I think they almost have the same. And you might have to check this because I'm pretty sure I'm wrong, but they might have the same active player base as Marvel the Avengers. It might be
That would be
I might
impressive,
totally off.
actually.
But
Because
wouldn't that be funny if they had pretty close to the same numbers? I don't know if there's a way to check it because I think Anthem is only available on the EA launcher and not on Steam.
I don't know.
But it seems like there's still a part of that community that's pretty active, especially on Reddit.
That's surprising.
It is surprising, but they still keep a pretty active rotation on their events, and they've slowly been adding things. Like the video I watched, I was like, dang, I didn't think they were actually still like working on the live. Like it's almost like a mini version, although probably won't be as successful as a Realm Reborn, where they're like working on the live version as they're rebuilding a newer version of it underneath. Like it's I don't know. Kind of like No Man's Sky, you kind of hope that it has its resurgence or whatever, or its redeeming arc, which might give us hope for the new Dragon Age, because really, to me, I don't understand the continued fandom for Dragon Age and the hype, because there's only really one good Dragon Age.
Inquisition.
The first one?
Nope.
Origin?
Well, at least we could agree no one says 2 is the best.
2 sucks. I almost bought it on sale and I was like, fuck that. Why am I even thinking about that? I'm just a collector of things, not even good things.
Nope.
And but yeah, a new Mass Effect is something to be very cautiously optimistic about, for sure, especially after Andromeda, which I get it is probably not like ultimately horrible, but it resulted in Anthem, so what can we say about that? I guess
it's unfortunate, and like you said, we'll see about this Mass Effect game, this new Mass Effect game. I'll judge that based on this Dragon Age game, because I don't know about any of this.
Exactly.
BioWare is not what they were. It is interesting to mention the player base of Anthem, which apparently is still alive, and another game that is apparently still alive is much newer. The Avengers from Square Enix, which had a report come out saying that they lost some monies on this game, which was a little bit surprising to me. Not because it's Avengers. I think we knew it was going to sell because of Avengers, but we also knew it didn't have that. The word of mouth was like, eh. But it should have something, right? It was also I think the best-selling game on NPD for that month, September. Yeah, September.
Yeah.
And so there's an estimate that they sold only around 3 million copies of the game.
Yeah,
Not good.
So I'm very surprised that it lost money. Maybe I'm not that surprised because of the multiplayer part of it, but I had a feeling that maybe kind of like Anthem did. Anthem sold well for how shitty it ended up being.
Right.
And I thought maybe this was going to be another case of like, yes, the game isn't like holding up great, with like all the difficulties it had and all the errors and bugs and I don't know, all that other stuff. But the single player really, people really did hold that in high regard. And then people were playing the multiplayer. Like there's plenty of people that, that we heard on podcasts were talking about it, people on Twitter that I saw that liked the multiplayer enough to play it and, go through and do the loot grind and everything like that. But I think the problem is that it just the new content wasn't coming in fast enough. I mean, even like the raid for Ghost of Tsushima came out, and the multiplayer came out quicker than the one for Marvel's The Avengers, and that's like their main thing. So why is this other game that is mainly a single player open world game dishing out their multiplayer and their like big raid or raids like quicker than you are? And that's like your main selling point to keep your people involved. Like it's and I get they're probably also concerned with fixing their game and working on the next gen version of it, but like how great is that next gen version going to do, or how well is it going to do if your current version is tanking and people are losing interest? It's not a great look for Crystal Dynamics. I feel so bad for that team
Yeah.
because Tomb Raider, which, the reboot was great, and Rise of the Tomb Raider is like on my list to play. And then like it just those didn't sell, like Rise of the Tomb Raider didn't sell well because of the exclusivity with Microsoft, and then Shadow of the Tomb Raider I don't think sold well at all. And now this, it's just like hit after hit. It's kind of rough for them over there.
It is, and actually, this is the same thing happened with Crystal and Square Enix with the original Tomb Raider, where they came out and said it sold below expectations, and they had these lofty goals for it. And I don't know what to do with that. I think anyone could have told you this was coming. Yeah. I do think there is a possibility on next gen that people are like, oh, well, I could play this. This is cool. It loads fast and it looks great. And oh, Spider-Man's coming in 2 months or whatever. But
Spider-Man.
But you're right. Well, the first character I think was supposed to be out by now, and the next one is supposed to be out this month, and that's all delayed. The next gen official patch is also delayed. There's a lot. The raid never came out. You mentioned that. There's a lot of issues. I'm currently trying to find the player base of Marvel's Avengers on Steam, just as a reference. I can't find it.
And you can't find it. They're all gone.
I can't find it, and I see Mass Effect Andromeda on this list already.
Oh wow.
I don't know if I just missed it or what.
Maybe the servers are down.
Oh
Maybe
no,
they're all
I
taking
found
the
it.
night off.
There are more people on Steam currently playing Andromeda than Avengers.
Shut up.
I'm not lying.
Oh my god.
There are just under 700 people playing Marvel's Avengers on Steam right now on a Sunday night. And then hold on, there are 760 playing Andromeda. There are, hold on, 1 second. Grand Theft Auto 4 has a higher player count. Final Fantasy 15, The Division 1 on Steam has a higher player count currently. Undertale, which actually seems pretty low. This is number 395 on the Steam charts.
That's pretty embarrassing.
Realm Royale, I know you mentioned that, is the one right above it.
Oh, Realm Royale. Wow. Shout out to Realm Royale.
PGA Tour 2K21 is above it. Lord of the Rings Online. Think about that for a second.
Oh my gosh, that takes me back. I remember when that launched, getting that free trial disc.
Right. Do you remember Generation Zero? The Avalanche game that kind of came out.
Yeah,
it was really cheap and whatever.
One.
Yeah, that's above it.
Oh man, just shut it
Remember
down.
Terminator Resistance, which apparently someone must be streaming it and making it popular. You can see on the chart.
Maybe, yeah.
Half-Life Alyx has more players, which is a VR game.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it's not looking good.
Not looking too good.
It sucks. I do hope in 2 years they can re-release this and it has 30,000 characters and it's awesome and everyone's happy. But Crystal Dynamics just gets the shaft again, and it's similar with BioWare, where, God, man, you were great, and it just feels like something happened along the way.
They should have never shut down Marvel Heroes.
That was
Left it go.
Yeah.
Could have been playing that on my PlayStation 4.
It is true. It is
or
true.
PC, I guess.
I never played that, and I always wanted to.
It would eventually came to Switch, and it would have been heaven.
Oh well.
Anyways, let's move on to our favorite moments
of the PS4 and Xbox One. When I think of the Xbox One, I think of buying it a year or so after it came out, when they finally decoupled it from the Kinect. And I think it was Sunset Overdrive was a launch title, or I don't think so. I don't think it was a launch. Anyway, I bought that. There's like a storm going on outside. I need to look outside later. Holy shit! Ooh. It does sound very loud. Yeah, there might be a dust storm going on right now. Um, I bought it for Sunset Overdrive, and I remember playing Sunset Overdrive, and you could do the picture-in-picture at the time. I don't think you can anymore on the Xbox. But the Game Awards were going on, and I distinctly remember watching the Game Awards and playing Sunset Overdrive, and I was like, oh, they're going to do a trailer, and I pop over to that and make that full screen. And that was about the only thing I did with that. Played Rare Replay, played Sunset Overdrive, and then I let my Xbox sit in my closet for like 2 years.
Oh my god.
A long time, and then I sold it and got an Xbox One X. And ever since then, it has been Xbox all the way.
Yeah.
And that might be my only memory, like my big memories with the Xbox One, which is disappointing. I do use it for like everything now, but it's not like, oh, the Xbox moments. Nah, it's just an Xbox. Okay. A little bummer.
So I remember one of my favorite memories of the next gen was waiting. So I had pre-ordered Infamous Second Son. Fully paid for it. I was like waiting for this game to come out. And the weekend, and I bought it digitally, so I didn't have to wait for it to ship or anything, but the weekend that it's coming out, I was going down to California to visit my family. So I was gonna like have to wait a whole week before coming back home to play this game. And I'm a huge Infamous fan, so I'm like dying to play this game. And I finally get back, power on the PlayStation. It's downloaded because it's like it has that ticker or whatever. Like it's just ready to go. Turn it on, and I play the whole like, not the whole night because I'm still old at this time, so I play till like maybe 2 or 3 in the morning. But man, that experience of playing Infamous on the PS4, at the time it was like the most beautiful game on that console.
Right.
Is still one of my favorite memories because like that game is like
not good.
That game is still so beautiful, and it's a great game. How dare you, sir?
Not good.
It is a great game. The story kind of sucks.
It is bad. Yeah, that's true.
And Delson's not the greatest character, but those neon powers were fucking great. I love those powers. And then the digital powers too that you get from the kid. Oh, those are pretty awesome too. I wish we could use them in a different Infamous game, like
in a better game.
In a better Infamous game, like give us those powers in like you can create your own Infamous character and then make it an open world game. Like, come on, let us do this. But yeah, that was one of my favorite. I have a lot of like memories with the like PS4. To me, might be my favorite generation because like I did a lot of online gaming that I initially did it on PS3, but like Destiny was kind of the thing I did the most on the PS4. Like I played a lot of Destiny initially, especially with like the few people that I played with, and it was always fun. Like I would get home from work, the kids go to bed, everything like that. I hop on and I just hop into a party chat with the same people every night, and we would do strikes, we would do the raid. Like it was so weird to have this group of people, and I haven't had a group like that since I used to play WoW, way back in the day. And it was really cool to kind of like experience that again. And so that, like, I would say that and that Infamous moment were probably two of my favorite like moments and memories from this last gen, for sure.
I remember my PS4 because I got my PS4 late as well, before I got my Xbox, and there was I don't even remember if it was official. I think it might have just been rumored that there was going to be a Bloodborne closed beta.
Ooh.
And I was so excited for this possibility that I just bought a PlayStation 4, thus more proof I'm an idiot. And it was the Destiny PS4. I never played Destiny. Never played Destiny 1, but it was the white Destiny PS4. It was white, right? Yeah, I'm not imagining that.
Yeah, it was the white one.
Yeah. And didn't get into that beta, but I sure did watch leaked streams of it, and very excited. But so obviously Bloodborne is a very exciting memory to me for that game, because that was the first kind of next gen Souls game, or I guess built for next gen.
Yeah.
Since Dark Souls 2 was on PC by that point, it was amazing on PC. I remember Guitar Hero Live is one of my favorite memories, just because I played so much of that game, and I feel like it fulfilled the promise that I wanted from Guitar Hero. And it had in front of the crowd, and it had the online service where there was just song, like it was like a radio, and the songs would just stream in. You could switch to a different channel and play the songs there. So many cool ideas, and I have probably some of my favorite, like that year. It was the same year as Bloodborne. That year might be my favorite PlayStation 4 year. It had Bloodborne. It had Guitar Hero Live. It had stuff like I didn't play this on PlayStation, but you could. Metal Gear Solid 5, Fallout 4. I think The Witcher. Yeah, The Witcher 3 was that year. It's such a good year for
Very
PlayStation
good year.
and in
Yeah.
general.
It's true.
But yeah, I remember that, and I don't know if there's anything else super exciting. I didn't camp out, but I did trade in my PS4 and go to GameStop that I had a pre-ordered PS4 Pro at on the launch night to pick that up, because I'm again idiot, and that was exciting. I really do like the Pro. I do think it sucks knowing that there's probably going to be a PS5 Pro. I hope it looks different, like shorter.
They just go back. They go back to the same model as like the PS4 Pro.
Just shorter. Like it doesn't need to be 17 feet tall, I don't think. So in 2 years they should be able to make a smaller version, I would hope. That's a little more powerful. Let's cross some fingers. But yeah, this was a great generation. It really was.
Oh yeah,
it
really was.
But I don't think it was. It was almost like in spite of the hardware. Where the games are so good. There's so many amazing games from this generation.
So many. Even indie games. Like,
yeah.
Think about like the quality of the Sony exclusives, right? Like Sony's exclusive games, even like a lot of third-party games came out and killed it. Like, like Assassin's Creed Origins and Odyssey, and there's like, I mean, I didn't play it, but like Watch Dogs 2, like there's a lot of those types of games that filled in the gaps for, when there wasn't an exclusive title. But there's so many games like that that really did like solidify this generation as like some of the greatest games to come out, like quality wise, and then indie games for that matter to like come out, like Hollow Knight and I can't think because there's so many, but like just so many games that were just so damn good. And like there's just so many games that we can't play them all, like
right.
And even now I'm still catching up on games that I haven't finished or haven't even started playing. And it's just it's almost like I want to delay the next gen just a little more, a little bit more, just to play.
There
play a few more.
There really were a tremendous amount of titles that are great, and it's not like, oh, that was pretty good. Like, no, there's a pile of amazing games on these platforms over the last 7 years. I think that's the biggest strong point, as I was kind of saying. I don't think the hardware on the Xbox was, especially at launch, that was a disaster. Obviously, the messaging debacle that happened with it. The One X is great, but that took 4 years to get to, 5 years to get to. It took a while, and even then, it didn't set the world on fire. It's powerful, but come on. There's not an amazing use case for that. But the games are this generation, because you can look back to the PS3 and there's some games there, but not like this. Nowhere near like this. I remember one of my favorite generations is the GameCube generation, which I think is, obviously, if you want to include the whole generation that has PS2 and Xbox original, that's probably the only other one that can rival it. I would say. I know people are going to be like, the Super Nintendo, but that's just the Super Nintendo. Like, we're talking about the full generation of every system firing on all cylinders, not some shitty Sega CD, Sega Saturn garbage on the side. Like, everything was killing it this gen. It didn't
Yeah.
matter where you were, if it was AAA or indie. It was a great time. And then now we have Game Pass and all this stuff going into next gen. And the hardware is finally off these shitty old hard drives that I hate and have hated for years. Literally 10 years I've been complaining about this. It feels like that's why I'm excited for next gen. Like
Yeah.
I'm glad there's no games. There could be no new games for 6 months. I still want that console just so it's quiet and fast. And that's enough for me.
Pour one out for last / current gen.
/ current gen for 2 days.
And then chug one for the next gen.
And then shoot that fire arrow right into that little log boat thing.
Let's move on to games we played. We have some new games to talk about. I'm excited. Do you want to start with Little Hope? I'm curious about the comment you have here, which I did look. I Googled when I saw this. I Googled Little Hope characters and then looked at images, and I'm like, not too sure.
Oh no, this wasn't a reference to you. This was so I could remember something to harp on and bitch about.
Okay. All right.
But it does involve you. There will be a short quiz section in a minute. So Little Hope is the Dark Pictures anthology game 2 after Man of Medan. I got this from Gamefly. Gamefly.
Gamefly.
There's your. I know. God, I love Gamefly so much. And it's probably like 5-6 hours, maybe closer to 5. I don't know. I played it through 3 sittings. It was a nice let me play this for an hour and a half and whatever. Group of students gets their bus crashes, and then they go. I'm trying to figure out because it's a horror story and there's weird elements going on, so it's hard to say what I want to say / not spoil things.
Yeah.
And they're going into this town because they're in the middle of the woods. Basically, they have to go through Little Hope, which is apparently it might be a ghost town actually. Yeah, it's a ghost town. And it used to be a old Salem witch trials town. And so there's flashes of that going on, of this creepy little girl running around and pulling you into the past, it seems. And this happens fairly early on. And it happens throughout, where you'll see elements of the past and these witch trials and people getting wrongly accused and the repercussions and blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
And it starts to become apparent that there are characters within that look like the characters you're playing as. The most notable one, actually, the game starts with a flashback to the 70s, where this kid and his sister, and his other sister, the creepy sister, accidentally sets the house on fire, and they all die tragically, and it's this crazy scene. Anyway, the main guy in that, obviously, is the guy on the cover, and he looks like the other main guy, right? And I'm playing this game and whatever, and they make a comment oh, that character in the vision, that person looked like you, or looked like me, that person looks like me. And
I see. Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And I'm avoiding a certain word because I want to ask your opinion on something.
Okay.
But I didn't notice this right off the bat. And then I started looking at it and going, oh, the one girl is his sister, but they gave her a completely different haircut, and she's in the beginning for 5 minutes, so I didn't realize it. It's such the whole plot hinges on that person looks like that person from the past, and that person looks like that person from the past. They're the same person, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or they look like the same person. But they don't necessarily right off the bat. A couple of them look like completely different people, and I had to be told oh yeah, I thought you were just an old lady. I don't know, you just look the same. And this one dude looks he just looks like a jock man. He's just a stereotypical 80s movie jock dude. So I didn't even realize he was the same guy for an hour and a half. And I realized, oh, he's over there. That's that guy. Anyway, so they settle on a word. This is your quiz part.
Okay.
They settle on a word to call a person that looks like themselves. Okay? Right? So imagine this. We're We're walking down the street. All of a sudden, we're teleported back in time and we see people that look like us. What do we call those people? Are you following?
Yeah, when we call them like doppelgangers,
Okay. Another word.
clones,
Clones. Okay. Another one.
twins.
Twins. Okay. Another one.
Oh gosh.
I know it gets hard.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. That's fine. That's totally fine. Would you believe that doppelganger, twin, clone, none of those are the words they use?
I would believe it. I don't know why.
Now, I understand why they wouldn't use clone, because in like a horror film, maybe it actually is clones. Okay, so don't use clones.
Yeah.
The word they use, and the word all the characters decide on so quickly and without discussion, is double. And it really, it's really weird. It's like, and I saw my double do this, and I'm like, that's just so weird. Like, I don't feel like this game was written by an English, like an American. I feel like no one would ever say, like, I would say twin. I would be like, yeah, I saw your twin, right? Like, it's your twin, or it's your doppelganger, right? Like you're saying. I would use clone, like I saw your clone, but obviously horror can't do that. So they say double. It's really weird, and that kind of goes into the whole big problem with this game to me is the dialogue. I don't like. I don't think it's very well written at all. So many instances, when you play a choose your own adventure game, and you can kind of see the seams where it cuts, and then they were like, I can't believe you did this thing, and oh my gosh, now we gotta try to do this, and then it kind of pauses for a second, and the camera changes, and they go, okay guys, let's go this way, and you're like, well, that was weird. Like that didn't fit at all. It does that constantly, and maybe it's just because I'm paying, like, I know that it's doing that. I want to see the seams and try to figure out how they put it all together, but it's everywhere, and even without it, the writing is very weird, and it's missing a lot of subtext, or not even subtext. Like, they'll say things, we need to go over here to do this thing, and I'm like, why don't you just say let's go? Why are you saying let's go get out of here from the creepy place? Why are you saying so many extra things? It's very odd. I don't like the writing of the majority of the game
stiff
at all.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's very weird. Most of the game takes place on this road with forest on the side. Probably half the game, which is very disappointing in terms of, like, I'm in a horror game. Where's the horror things we're gonna go to? Side of the road.
Where's the haunted house? Yeah.
And there are, there's a spooky grocery store type of thing, and whatever. There are spooky places, but there's a lot of walking by trees, a shocking amount of it. And that's disappointing. The game's beautiful. It is very pretty looking. I will say that. I don't find it very scary either. And that can be very subjective. It over relies on jump scares, and a lot of the jump scares, I would say 90% of the jump scares, are triggered by the same exact thing, and like show the same scary image almost every time. So it starts to become like, again with this, like, oh, you got me, but again with this, okay. So that's very disappointing. I like the story. I just don't like the execution of the writing, or anything else about it. I think Man of Medan's better, just because it felt more I don't know, it felt, I want to say cohesive. I get, like, there were moments in that game, like there's a bunch of characters on a boat and they get kidnapped by terrorists or something. I don't exactly remember, but then they end up on not like a little boat. They end up on a cruise ship that's haunted and all this crap. Well, one person, because you're playing at the beginning of the game with all these 5 different characters, one character goes to somewhere else to, like, sleep or something, and then the terrorists show up. And you can choose to not have that person reveal themselves, and so they come out later, like an hour later, to go help, right? And that's a really cool plot development, and you can see the different ways things can go. and all the characters get split up, and it's very interesting. This felt so contrived, and it just didn't it didn't work. Everyone's just walking around. They do the same thing where like you get attacked by a monster and like the two characters run away and there's like a QTE, and then another character appears at the end of the cutscene that you never saw run away, and they're like, oh, I'm here too. What the fuck is going on? It's just like, meh, it's fine. I like the ending. I know there are people out there that hate the ending. There's I think an article on Polygon that was like, this ending sucks and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I like the ending. It's stupid, but it is a nice way to wrap it up in a way that is logical and not like, because how are you going to explain time travel witch trial shit? They do a nice job. I will say that. But I would recommend Man of Medan over this game. It was fine. You know, it was okay. Nothing remarkable about this at all. I find the uncanny valley of these characters is very uncanny. And the acting is weird because the writing is not good and it doesn't explain things. And some of the stuff that I have complaints about, they do make sense later, but it's like, well, that didn't make it good though. It still sucked until I understood why, and even now that I understand why, it's still kind of dumb. It just makes sense now. I can't spoil it, obviously, but yeah, I think if you're looking for a horror game now that it's a week after Halloween, I think you should play Until Dawn. It's still the best one they did. And I think the deal with Until Dawn was they had so many characters and they let them go in so many different places and then come back in a way that felt natural and interesting, and so many people could die, and that was it's such a better game than either of these. Yeah, I would recommend Man of Medan over this game 100%. I think it has better scares. I think it has better plot. I think it has better acting. I don't remember the writing specifically. I probably complained about that a year ago. I don't know. But I would recommend that game over Little Hope, even though I love the Puritan kind of what is that magic thing? Oh, like Hereditary. What is the what I'm talking about? Fuck. It has that like the witchcraft, Blair Witch kind of. There's a word for it. That's gonna bother me.
Shoot. Trying to think.
I don't. Whatever. But I like that setting. I like the witch trial. What is that word? I'm gonna look it up. But no, I think this is a hard pass on Little Hope. Perfect Game Pass game. Had it for 3 days and sent it away.
Okay.
Yeah. Very, very disappointed because I think the trailer for it was really cool and I wanted it. The trailer for the next game at the end of this one looks better to me. The setting wise is like you're in Egypt or something, not Egypt, but some country of African country, I think. That sounds bad, but it was a trailer for like 30 seconds. I don't know where the fuck you were.
Okay.
But there was
Did they say when that's coming out, or
it says next year.
Title for it?
It says next year.
Okay.
So that looks more interesting to me.
How many are they doing?
I think it was 7 or 8.
Shit.
Yeah, and they wanted to do them like every 6 months, which has already not happened.
Yeah.
I think once a year is fine, and I just hope like so much of this takes place on the side of the fucking road, man. And I know the first game had a boat and then a cruise ship, but it still it made sense and it worked. It wasn't like I'm on the side of the fucking road for 2 hours. It's so odd. And with the lack of scares and spooky things going on, just felt like I was walking around with a flashlight. And they do this thing. Oh my god, this character has a flashlight, right? And you're walking around with a flashlight, and then you get to this place and you boost yourself up to go on the second floor. And then he's like, "Hey, throw me your phone. And she's like, "Why?" "So I can use the flashlight on it." And I'm like, "Oh, but you have a flashlight. I was just using it." And then he uses her flashlight phone. And then in the next scene, like a half an hour later, he has a flashlight again. What is happening? I don't get it.
What?
It's so bizarre. I don't.
Oh my gosh.
I don't understand. It's fun for that, and you can play it with another person.
It sounds like
you could.
It sounds like those scenes in a movie where like they're holding something, and then in one scene they're not holding it,
Yeah.
and then in the next scene after that they are.
Yeah.
But like, how do you do that in a video game when like you're making it and you're studying every single piece of that video game, scene by scene.
But it would make more sense if he did, like you're saying, if he didn't have it and then had it again. But he specifically asks for another flashlight and then gives it back.
So weird.
It's so bizarre. But you can play it with multiplayer and like that's another cool thing where at the beginning opening segment where there's the dude and his sister, if you're playing that co-op, the sister is seeing other scenes, like seeing other content, which is cool in theory. But if you're not, you're just missing like a lot of the game. I don't know how much of the game I missed, right? It's impossible to know. And that's like, I would rather play all the scenes than play half the scenes. And then it feels like, well, do I play the game again? And how do I trick the game into giving me the other half of the game? That becomes, as a player, like really confusing and frustrating. I just want to see the full game and know the full story. Even if I have to play it at the end, like show me the stuff I didn't see. That'd be cool. But you can't. And then that sucks, and it's fine. The game's okay. So it's a solid 6. Probably.
I've been seeing like good things about it, like on Twitter, like people talking about it.
People like
Seems
it.
like people are liking these. Yeah, they seem to be liking the string of these. So
I continue to support it because of that. But this one did not work for me, and I'm gonna go look up the name of that horror genre thing right now.
Okay. I will talk about a game I played called Mobius Front 83. I did receive this code for like review / discussion content from Pop Agenda. So shout out to them for providing the code. So if you don't know what this game is, it basically looks like almost kind of like a homage to Advance Wars, like a very, I would say almost like Command and Conquer early PC version of that.
Okay.
And to me it reminded me, like just playing it reminded me a lot of Into the Breach, which was kind of like same thing, tactics, turn-based. You move your units on the field. You have certain amount of movements you can do. You position them on the field, and then it's the enemy's turn. They'd make their movement. So it's very much that. What's unique about it is in between missions, you're getting story bits, and it's almost like you're getting like G.I. Joe, but like more like, not like, I guess more like PG-13 G.I. Joe, because they're actually like saying curse words, and it's like Cold War era stuff, and that part's really entertaining. The battles can get pretty like complex and challenging as you go. I'm like on the 6th mission, and so I'm getting a lot of units to position in the field, and it's kind of like they're kind of hexagons that you're moving them on. I'm trying to like describe it as best I can. It's, if you look it up and kind of just look at like one screen. The bad thing about it is so far I've only encountered the same environment, like the same landscape basically. It's like green and there's some forest, and all you're basically doing is maneuvering around that. So and then there's like a solitaire game in there, and it's a little different than just regular solitaire. It's just like a side, like a mini game you can play in between missions too, which is pretty cool. I would say like I'm definitely gonna play more of it because I'm enjoying it, and it's giving me those memories of like playing Into the Breach, which I really did like. It's a little challenging, but I am enjoying it, and for some reason, like, I can't decide if it's a game that I could recommend yet. I still need to play more of it, so like I don't have like a full review yet, but my initial impressions are that like it's, if you like tactics games, if you liked Into the Breach, it might be one to check out. But I would say, you know, maybe watch some streams, check out some YouTube videos, read some reviews before you really dive in. Because so far, like, I've only done like 6 missions, and I can tell you so far, like, it is, some of it does feel a little repetitive. so it's not like all the way there to where I was wanting. Where Into the Breach, like each island that you went to was very different. Where this one's like seems kind of repetitive so far because everything's the same. So, but I like it. Pretty cool so far. So, we'll see if I get to a point where I'm like, I can't do this. This is too hard. I'm done. So, that happened with FTL. I just couldn't get past a certain point with FTL.
Yeah.
And that thing, like, I was like, man, I worked so hard to get to this point, and then I'm dead. So, but yeah, it's interesting. Like, I think I almost had more fun playing the solitaire mini game that they have than I did the actual game. But I think that might have just been the relief after one of the challenging missions, because I had just barely made it through that mission. And I had spent maybe like a good 45 minutes trying to get past that mission. And it was like intense. And then I get out and I'm like, I'm just playing solitaire now. This is so fun.
This is safe.
This is safe. But yeah, it was. I booted up this morning and I played the last mission, which wasn't as intense. Like I played mission 5, which wasn't as intense as mission 4, and just a lot less units to deal with, which was crazy. But it's like the in between cartoon or like cutscenes are really interesting. There's like one kind of like geeky soldier and one like intense dude that's like, shut up, you idiot. it's just like so fucking funny, dude. And he's like always getting bullied and stuff, and it's just really weird.
It's got the anime slice of life people.
Yeah, for some reason it reminds me a little bit of it's a Mobile Suit Gundam, the 8th MS team. I don't know why. It just reminds me of that like feeling, like that. Give me those vibes. Even though like not same exact character dynamic, but like just I don't know, just their interactions are cracking me up. The way they talk to each other. But yeah. And then one quick thing, I did finish Uncharted 4.
Yay.
And man, God, that game is fucking impressive. I cannot say enough about just how impressive that game, how beautiful it is. There's parts of that game that I was just blown away by, where you're climbing up, like you're so high up on these huge cliffs, and there's like giant mansions or like cathedrals up there, and you're like, as you're climbing up, like suddenly there's a rocket that's shot inside and it's breaking apart and you're hanging off the edge. There's just these moments that like blew me away about this game, and I'm just like Naughty Dog is so like, they can make this game on this huge scale, this huge beautiful world, and then they made Last of Us 2, which isn't this like grounded, gritty, like, you know, Seattle. Like, it's just such a huge like difference in what they did, but they're both like these extreme ass games. Like, I just like, I can't say enough about how like just insanely good Naughty Dog is. Few frustrating things that I always hate about Uncharted though. What, like when you're in like a shootout and there's just so many enemies everywhere. I feel like when there's too much going on, you're just like, what do I do? And then he just like decides to jump, or he won't kneel down when he's supposed to, and you just die. And I'm like, well, that was fucking frustrating. I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, but yeah, that was really good game, really good ending. I'm very happy with everything.
You like
now I will remember the ending for sure now.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I'll spoil it again.
I'll remember it now.
Okay,
now that
perfect.
I played it.
I want the next game to be whatever her name is, but there's no shooting.
Cassie.
And it's like Drake is a mentor like Sully, and they're just exploring Brazil or something.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
They could almost do it to where it's like Nate and Elena get captured, and Sam has to take Cassie as like like he
Oh,
maybe
sure.
they were on a trip together. They get captured, and then you play as Cassie, and Sam has to like help you rescue them. Like they could totally do that.
Yeah, I want that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want that because them making a but it's ostensibly Tomb Raider, even more Tomb Raidery.
Right.
I want them to do it. That'd be so
Yeah.
good. I
Yeah. Now
guess,
I need to play Lost Legacy.
dude. Yeah, Lost Legacy's great.
Yeah. I have to play it. Anyways.
I'm still trying to find that word and I cannot find it. It's driving me crazy. I'm asking Logan, like, help,
Okay.
help find
Did you
this.
want me to talk about my next game?
No, I'll break in a little bit. All my
Okay.
other stuff's quick. I'm like 60 stars in the Mario Galaxy, and it's great. It's such a nice,
Nice.
calm, chill. It's not too difficult. Just whatever. I'm collecting stars and doing Mario stuff. That's great.
Nice.
Uh, yay. Still playing Genshin Impact, to everyone's surprise. Not playing as much. Certainly played maybe 4 hours in the whole week, maybe.
Now, are you getting to a point where you're running out of resin? Is that why
No,
you're not playing as
I
much, or you're just
barely.
like to a point where
No,
you're like, eh?
I don't use the resin. I don't. I know what it's for, but I don't really do that. I am at a point where I need certain materials to level up one of my, or I guess all the characters conceivably, and I don't really know where to get it. But there's still a ton of side quests and things that I can do, and really, I want to see how this battle pass ends, which ends in like 12 hours or a day or something like that.
Oh wow.
So I want to see how that ends. I want to get to level 10 on that, which I'm really close because that gives you a free wish. And then
Oh,
I
there you
want to
go.
see what the next battle pass is. And then I'll probably just check in every so often. Um, I still really like the game. It's just such a fun thing to run around and explore and see the world. Uh, it is annoying that, oh, I gotta get this item. Well, how do I get that item? Oh, it drops from level 30 plus Josahuzalas or whatever. And I'm like, okay, where's that? And like, oh, you haven't discovered one. I'm like, well, all right, I guess
Well,
I don't have one. And I could Google it, or I could just dick around and do whatever I want. And I'm enjoying that more than enough to play for the next day, to get to the end of the battle pass. Um, it it's a weird game where there are a lot of issues with like progression and monetary problems, but I do enjoy playing it a very large amount. So there's that.
all right.
And there's more content for the next 75 years with that game.
I bet, man. I bet. I bet they've made so much money off that game that they can just continue making content.
From what I understand, there's two regions in the game right now, and there's supposed to be seven.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, I think something like that, and that's a lot. That is a
Yeah.
lot.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm playing that, but
Nice.
mainly what I played this week, besides Little Hope, was Crysis Remastered. I beat that yesterday. Not a
Nice.
terribly
Still holds up.
long game, but I really enjoyed it. And uh, it is that old style of shooter that you don't get anymore from
Yeah.
2006 or whatever it was. 7? I don't know. I liked it a lot. There's some really cool stuff that happens with aliens, and there's a boss fight at the end that's terrible, which I would be more upset about, but the game's 15 years old, and I feel like this is what a game 15 years ago would do, and it's stupid, and I hate it. But whatever. It's also it's still like that's the biggest issue is the brightness and the contrast and all that. I could never find a setting that really worked, and the end of the game is extremely dark, like
Oh
basically
no.
night vision the entire time I had to do. And I guess I should have just paused it and turned up the brightness, but like it's so weird. It's the only game I ever played that just has brightness all over the goddamn place. It's too bright here, it's too
Oof.
dark here. Nothing works right. I don't know how you fix that or why, but besides that, I did really enjoy the story and the ride of it all, and yeah, I totally recommend Crisis One. I don't know if you need the remaster. You could probably just get the original and be fine. Like I don't know that it's really added that I don't know. I think the original probably doesn't have the weird lighting issue. It's not gonna have ray tracing, which was neat, but I
Yeah.
don't know I don't know if it was that neat. And I actually started and played 30, 40 minutes of Crysis 2
Oh, okay.
because
I
I
saw that
was
they were on. I think they were on sale this week, weren't they?
I bought it 9 years ago. Uh,
Oh, okay.
I had to look it up on my. It was so long ago. I bought it on Amazon as like a digital code, and I had to look up the digital code because it wasn't activated anywhere. It was something where you downloaded it and put in the code.
Oh, weird.
So I
Okay.
was actually able to
Kind of
put
like a
in the
CD key.
code, yeah, like a CD key. I was able to put it in on Origin, and it's like, hey, you want this game? Like, yes, that's what I want. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Yes,
Give
please.
it to
This
me.
9 years old fucking code. Yes, I would like this on a launcher. I don't care that it's on Origin. Um, and I totally see why people were upset by Crysis 2. It is a very scaled back. It's in New York City and not the jungle, which is a big difference. But it's beautiful, man. You run that thing today, it still is impressive at
I remember
4K.
really liking Crisis 2.
Yeah, I like it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna try and play it and beat it. I like the story, like I said, with the alien invasion shit going on. I think
Yeah.
that's really cool. I like the suit powers. I like stealthing around and then shit hits the fan. Now I'm shooting. The shooting's satisfying, and it's funny. This game feels much more optimized for a controller than the game that just came out a month ago. Uh, the remaster, but
Yeah.
I'll play more of this and get back on Crysis. But I'm now all in on Crysis, man. I'm gonna play 2. I got 3. I bought 3 15,000 years ago. It's also so I'm gonna finally play it. I never played it because I wanted to beat 2, and then I never did never did that either. I'm doing it now.
Nice. Cool. Um, I so I'll start with Pokemon first. Um, kept playing Pokemon this whole last week. I got my first shiny ever in a Pokemon game. I don't count Pokemon Go. Don't at me. Doesn't count.
Pokemon, go away.
Pokemon Go away.
Yep.
I like Pokemon Go, but it just the shinies on there don't count to me because I have like 2 shinies on there. They don't count. Um, I did the Dynamax Adventures and I got a shiny Pelipper. It was awesome. First time ever getting a shiny. My kids got shinies before me, not even trying. And I finally got one. I've literally played like every fucking mainline Pokemon game ever.
I feel like
Um,
I could have gotten a shiny. I might not know.
you know, that could be it. Maybe at the time when I played like through the older ones up until I knew shiny was a thing, I might have come across them, but I just don't remember. But once I knew they were a thing, which was at least by the time that Black and White were out, I never came across one since then.
Hmm.
But I've also never played as much post game in a Pokemon game than I have with this game.
Right.
But I did finally get one. So I decided to, because I needed something else to play during like my slow times at work when I'm just like taking calls and waiting for email responses. I wanted something turn based that I could just like pause in between. So I purchased Darkest Dungeon,
Ooh.
which means I hate myself because this game is awesome and cool and extremely punishing
Yeah.
to the point where my favorite like character that I've had so far got so stressed out that he died of a heart attack. And it's permadeath, so he's gone.
Perfect.
Luckily I didn't spend that much time leveling him because like I'm still very early on. Like my whole thing with my first run right now is just to learn the game. Like, and that's what I'm doing. Like, oh, I didn't know you could die of a heart attack in this game. That's crazy. And so I'm learning like, okay, I should probably focus on upgrading
Hearts.
like no, like the arm. Oh yeah, hearts probably. Like the armor and the armor smith or the blacksmith, and then the guild, which is where you train your guys. And then you can also there's like a place to de-stress. There's like a what is it? Infirmary for when people get injured, and then there's like a bar. So there's different ways to de-stress people. There's different ways to heal your people, and different way for people to seek like meditation and things like that. So it's such an interesting game. And I love the battle system in it because not only is it turn based, but it's also like placement based. So you have your people lined up in like a lineup of 4, and some people like need to be either in the third spot back or the second spot because that's where they're preferred to be. So their moves are stronger in that spot, and not only that, their moves do better in that spot or can only reach the enemies in that spot. Like, so certain, like, you have to take all these things into consideration when you're placing them in your team. And so far I'm like trying to figure out so far what my best comp is to go in with. And you can retreat, like if you go into a dungeon, like you can retreat after, like as long as you're not in battle, and leave without losing anybody. Sadly, I was in the middle of like the final battle in that dungeon when my guy had a heart attack and died. So that kind of sucked. But now I know, and it's crazy. Like like in the middle of a battle, someone might like just get so stressed out that they go irrational, and then they don't listen to you. Like you can't command them to like hit. They're just like won't listen. They'll pass, and you're just like, what the fuck? Like that game is so like and what sucks is like I wish I could play it on PC because I wish like it was just easier to click things and read and things like that. But I like the the portability is what I like about it because I can sit in bed and just like look at my characters, look at the stats, and if I need to just like take a few quick runs in the dungeon without really trying to complete it, just really like level up a few things. So yeah, it's an interesting game, and it's kind of made me even more interested in the upcoming sequel. So
cool.
Probably have more to say about it as I continue to have it torture me and die of heart attacks.
Yeah, I've always wanted to play Darkest Dungeon, and I never did. And I might have it.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know.
Me too. I've always been interested in it. I've always seen people play, and I'm like, this seems like, and everything I've heard about is like, this seems like it would destroy me mentally. But I don't know. So far, it's pretty fun. But yeah, I'll probably be playing a lot of like Fallout 76 this week. I jumped back in just to check it out, and they've definitely put a lot of work into it, I think, to like make it run better because it was running really well on my PlayStation, which is weird. Like I would think the opposite. Like as my PlayStation has gotten shittier and as that game has gotten bigger, I thought it would run worse. But it was running better, and I was getting a lot more like there's like little missions you do and a like I think challenges. So as I'm going through one mission, I'm getting all these little dings and extra coins and stuff like that. I'm like, oh dang, this is all cool. Great. Yeah. The game just feels better, so I'm probably gonna be jumping in this week and checking it out. So I'll have more to say probably next week.
Cool.
Yeah. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. I think we've gone on pretty long this week, surprisingly. So I think we could wrap it up.
Yes. Wrap it.
Oh, and rest in peace to Alex Trebek. Extremely sad news. He passed away today.
Yeah.
Jeopardy host. We're gonna go ahead and close out the show. Again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the stream, checking out the podcast, which you can find on iTunes, on Google Podcast, on Stitcher, on Spotify, on thegamefanatics.com and anchor.fm. We appreciate the listens. We appreciate you guys continuing to spread the word and to listen to our podcast. And of course, if you have any questions, comments, and concerns, feel free to send any messages our way. You can find us over on Twitter at the Joelness, at Ben Runnings. You can also email us finalcheckpointpod@gmail.com. You can also find us over at thegamefanatics.com. And we will see you guys next week. Goodbye.
Bye.